Welcome to part 2.
Mexico, March 4th, 2002. Some people you see within 5 minutes of turning the car off and their numbers surprise you. Other people you hear about over the coconut telegraph for weeks and you don't run into them and their numbers surprise you too. Para ejemplo. Driving into town after being gone for a month and a half in the States, the first person we run into that both Mike and I know is Regis. Regis had been my introduction to Mexican surfing lineups when he'd straightened me out on a point of etiquette in no uncertain terms. "Sorry, man," says I. "Chúpame verga, pendejo," he snarls back and paddles away. After this rather awkward introduction to the local surfing community, I stuck around, tried hard not to act like an idiot in the water, smiled a lot on the beach, and eventually made some friends. Regis is one of them. So here we are, almost 3 months after the initial incident, and who's walking down Avenida Revolucion talking to a pretty Mexican gal? He's got his t-shirt tied around his head and a big knee brace on his left knee. I lean on the horn, throw the car in park, and we stand in the middle of the street smiling and exchanging handshakes. I've been back in town for about a month now, and except for 5 days crewing on a yacht, I've looked for Bobby every day. Bobby's a 65-year-old wise-ass Oakland Raider fan. He seems to spend all his time, except Sundays, on the deck of his house on the hill. He's keeping an eye on the beach, he says. Sundays, he sat in Don Pedro's and watched football. I know Bobby's in town, and I know he usually walks past once or twice a day on the way to or back from the traditional coffee convocation at Smokin' Joe's. I have an idea what goes on there, but I have yet to witness it firsthand. I'm goddamned if I've seen the little fucker. It's kind of how the tropics are, though. You hear the stories and the talk so much it seems like it falls out of the sky and runs down the gutters into the ocean. And then it washes up on the beach, evaporates, and falls out of the sky again. It's a closed system. The little concrete cartoon town in the jungle just changes supporting characters. The plot recycles and the main characters enter and exit. I haven't been here long enough to find that deep theme yet, the source of all the motivation. I feel like I do more than my share of listening, and I wait longer than I should for my turn to talk. Who the fuck tattooed an emotional tampon on my forehead? Yo no sé, güero. It's funny how your stories become someone else's in a small town. I've had to laugh when Mike, who's never surfed a day in his life, starts holding forth to anyone who'll listen on just that subject. He's talking about one of the hardest things I've ever learned to do. And the stupid son of a bitch says, I know I could do it. I just haven't chosen to start yet. Raleigh's the patriarch of the local expat community. Other people have been around longer. Other people know the ropes better. What have you. But every day from 8 to 12, Raleigh's is open, serving real live gringo hotcakes and home fries with a giant side of motherly love from his wife, Jeannie. Raleigh's a 60-ish, retired school administrator from the States. He's made it his mission in life to feed people and feed them well. A couple of years ago, they bought this ramshackle bi-level concrete building with a roll-up door in front, gutted the whole inside, and started a restaurant. To sit at a table at Raleigh's, arms still trembling from paddling during the dawn patrol, is to come back to one of my favorite stateside phenomena, the family cafe, the neighborhood bar, the local hardware store, where everything's on a first-name basis, and they'll hold a seat for you or let you run a line of credit, even when they want to close or the store's not making any money. I honestly think that Jeannie wouldn't sleep for a week if she thought I walked out of there with room to add anything to my stomach. You come down here for a while and it seems like everybody's in the process of moving south. This place sets the hook in you early, and the recurring theme you hear from everybody in every little town is, I'm moving here if they're visitors. I wish I could, or maybe someday. Cocoa palms and heat, a small town on the ocean, and there's more and more as you go south. Colima, Michoacan, El Salvador, Nicaragua, Panama, Ecuador, Peru. Everyone has some spot south of wherever you are at the time. Scotty's going down to Costa Rica. Alex, Tanya, and the girls are going to Tikla for 2 weeks, and they make it for 1 when Alex gets sick and comes home. My buddy Borrego looks at me, and absolutely deadpan, he looks me right in the eyes and he says, "You remind me of me when I'm older."
Up next, Regan and Ward 42.
Yeah, we were at Matt's place, his mom's place, down on the coast, Pacific City. And it was the morning after. It was absolutely the morning after. It was one of those morning afters. The only cool and very groovy thing about it was like late November, early December or something. And we were all outside on the deck in our shorts and no shirts, and the sun was shining, and we were warm on the Oregon coast, that close to winter. But other than that, it was just one of those fucking morning afters.
What was your idea for a way to raise some money in Boise to get home?
Oh, we were going to fight fires. They were hiring like anybody that came. And we were just pulling through.
This is 94. But they weren't hiring anyone who came through.
Obviously not. They weren't hiring us. They didn't hire us. I don't know why. I don't think we tried very hard. It's truth of the matter. But I think there were signs everywhere that said they were hiring firefighters.
I do the best I can to get as drunk as I can before I sit down here to do this. That way I break down the barriers of free thought and pure expression. The problem is, of course, that I have to keep interrupting the thought flow to get up and pee or to light another smoke. This computer and this little bland keyboard with keys that make that awful tap, tap, tap sits in late at night for that hunk of American steel, my Smith Corona Classic 12. Those real metal arms strike actually hit real paper. The thing makes thunderous clacks in slow, monotonous progression, and it's just too loud to work with here late at night. I like the sound, but more I like how it makes me write. I have to think about each letter in the correct order before I type it. And I have to type it right. There's no room for error, no simple backspace to correct for the third time a misspelling. I like that. And I need the push to do some of these things right. So today I typed a letter to my friend in Rhode Island. I'm getting better, making fewer typos, and it was a pretty good letter. You can tell from what you're reading here that late at night, drunk and piddling with other things, distractions, that I need all the help I can get.
This is Molly, and I think you're out of sight.
Thanks, Molly. I think you're okay, too. Before that, Mr. Daly was reading out of his book, My Midnight Mind. Coming up, a story from Dave. But first, here's Jason Ivey.
Two guys drunk, too dumb to know a nice place from what they were used to. Guys, too loud, too obvious, too bad.
there's like these weird bondage couples. There's one strange couple, little skinny chick who's got the knee-high leather boots, actually thigh-high leather boots, fishnet straps, and she's got this guy who's got this bondage mask, full leather mask over his face, and he's on this weird body harness thing with a leash attached to it. And from time to time, she'd give the leash a yank, and he'd he'd mule and kind of quiver up against her, and she'd have conversations with other people. And and he's like big and muscly, but she'd just yank his leash and mule up to her. And after a while, they started talking to this transvestite who's dressed really, like he could work at a library. Had just nice hair, nice makeup, but definitely a dude. And he was really shy, just had this weird hurt look on his face the whole time he was there. And they started talking to her, and he seemed to start looking really sad while they're talking, but then nods his head. Next thing I know, they're up on the stage, and the chick is whipping the transvestite's ass with a flail. He's got his skirt up and whipping his ass with a flail, while her bondage boy is just doing that weird quivery thing all over the place. It's almost like a dance. And Jerry's just beside himself, and I'm just kind of checking the show, going, wow, this is different. And here comes this big, buff black dude. And again, he's got some really strange Matrix-looking, more like, what are the Pinhead movies? Hellraiser. He's got like this Hellraiser get-up on. He's got all these straps and spikes that all connect this way and that. Two-tone bleach blonde hair. So it's like yellow on the sides and then, platinum, tall, flat top thing on top. And the guy's got arms as big around as my legs and a video camera. Comes up to me and says, "You want to be famous?" "Don't want to be famous." "Nah, come on, make you famous." "Ah, you're going to make me famous." Eyeballs me up and down, aims his camera at me, and looking at me through the lens, says, "Take your clothes off." I'm going, "Oh my God, are you commanding me? And do I have to?" And I'm going, "No, I think I'm good with them on. Come on, we can go someplace private. Just take your clothes off for me, and I'll film the whole thing. You'll be famous." No, I think I'm just gonna go have another beer. I'm fine." And Jerry comes over, just all excited. Dude, what was that about? I told him the rundown on it. "Why did you do it?" "Dude, did you see him?" "Yeah, so?" "No, these people are going to get the hippie naked, and then they're going to throw me out on the street and keep my clothes, and I'm going to be drunk and naked in the rain on the streets of Seattle. No."
Fire. I'm afraid of fire. I don't really know what to do about fire.
So you're moving. Where was that? Tennis?
To Georgia.
What?
Georgia.
Georgia.
Yeah, Georgia. Savannah.
Nice. What's going on there? I mean, what?
Yeah, I told you about this 3 weeks ago. It seems to be the result of one of the 10,000 resumes that I've thrown out in the last year and a half. I got a job with the Nature Conservancy. I'm moving to Georgia.
But you're still going to be on LoatheCast, right?
Right, yeah, exactly. Why do you call me at 4 in the morning to ask me about things that I told you I was doing 6 hours ago?
Because I forget.
All right, good. I'm going back to sleep, all right? All right? Don't call again. Good night.
And here's a scene from next month's episode.
You have to do it this way or they lock. Grab me that.
Thank you for that.
Full of jelly.
All that and more next month on LoatheCast.
Please visit www.LoatheCorp.com for more.
You know who you are, and you know what I did. I'd probably do it again.
This
has
been
a production.
It'll cross your pumpkin.